Hey, welcome to another episode of the Solid Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Neal. Our other host right here, Jefferson Rogers. Other host over here is Jeff Fieldstead. And we thank you for tuning in today. We have a special guest today. His name is Mayor Mcrae Heppler. Okay, maybe he's not mayor yet, but
I mean, he might as well be the mayor at this point.
He's thinking about a career in politics, man?
Absolutely not.
I'm pretty sure. Who doesn't know Mcrae and doesn't think Mayor Mcrae?
He's the unelected mayor of
I'm okay
St.
with
George.
that.
I would much rather be that
I'm okay with unofficial.
than an actual politician.
Yeah.
It is still, I don't feel like I am worthy of that, but I don't say no to that. I do say no to the political position. I will never be the mayor. Mark my words.
I don't blame you.
But unofficial, I'm okay with.
If you could actually be the mayor and not have to
Do the mayor stuff?
do the mayor stuff.
He knows enough about the mayor stuff. That's why he would never do it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess if you could do it in the way that it should be done,
Yeah.
you'd be awesome at it. But I get it. You don't want to mess the politics of things. You
He
know, it
is.
just isn't-
He's doing it the way it should be done.
I agree, and that's why
Yeah.
the unofficial mayor is the way to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree.
Well,
I
love having
appreciate
you
that.
on today, bro.
Well, thanks for having me.
You bet.
Stoked to be here. This place is unreal.
Our new headquarters.
For the listeners, if you got to come see this place. I mean, it's truly incredible.
Appreciate that.
I love seeing this built in St. George because there's just not a lot of it, you know, and I think that a lot of stuff here has just been here a long time, and so there's not been a lot of new office built. There has been some.
This is a little mixture of both.
And a little mixture of both here in renovating an old building like this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So well done.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it did
I
turn
can't
out
wait
really
to
good.
get this on one of my videos here pretty soon
Heck
when
yeah,
we do
man.
a St. George Boulevard video.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Hopefully soon, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mcrae, catch us up. You were on the Solid Podcast, so we did it. We took a 2-year break, and you were on the first time we did it.
Yeah.
And
At your house.
That's right. Yep.
What's
And
that been? 5 years? 4 years?
Probably at least 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think 4 years ago.
So since then, you've had at least one more kid. You probably had one kid at the time. Now you've got 2 kids
Yep.
now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Catch us up a little bit. What have you been up to the last few years? What do you do? I mean, we know what you do, but tell our
Yeah.
audience a little bit about what you do. I mean, you connect so many people in this community in such a positive way, and we want to get into that and how you do
Yeah.
that and
I appreciate
make it a
that.
better place to live. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because the other word that I get called is influencer, and I don't like that word either. I like connector better than influencer. And really at the heart of everything I do is to connect people. And so the last couple of years, actually, since we talked, because the last time I was with you guys on this, I didn't have any kids. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was grinding like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. out every day, like – and wondering when I had kids, how was I going to be able to, what that shift was going to be like, right? It was a scary thing because I was just grinding, and I knew that I would have to shift in some way, and I didn't know what that was going to be like. And what's interesting, I was just telling this to somebody the other day that's about to be a dad, and I was like, I can't explain it, but you'll figure out a way to still get the same amount of work done in a shorter period of time. And also you'll actually be, if you do it with with the right mentality and mindset, I actually think that because of my kids, I actually get even more business because of just the structure. I already lived a really structured life, but now even more so, I feel like every minute matters more. Because I want to spend all the time that I possibly can with my kids, while also giving them the lifestyle and the adventures and the things that I want to give them. And it's hard, right? But because of that, every minute matters more. And so my days are just way more calculated. And I've got my times that are just like non-negotiables with my kids. And then I have my times that are just grind, right? And it's been fun. It's been really fun to try and navigate this and be the best dad possible while also being the best business owner, boss, partner that I possibly can be as well.
Don't forget the husband part, brother.
Well,
that's an important part too.
Yes, and you're right. And when I think about the kids, that it's one and the same with my wife.
It is,
and giving her that time as well. And that's again, I have my times that are strictly for them, and even with my phone, it's super hard. And I've figured out, you just put your phone on the kitchen counter, and the gravitational pull, it's like yanking at my ear, but it goes away over time, and it's so much better, and it helps so much in those times. So
That's
Absolutely.
awesome, dude. Well, you said it's hard, but all great things come after you pay a price.
Yeah.
Right? And I think after you have kids, I think it's funny because somebody who's successful, they talk to somebody who's having kids and they go, well, get ready. It's about to get better. You're about to turn it up.
Yeah.
And then you talk to a lot of people who haven't had success in their life, and you talk to them and they get ready to have their first child, and they think, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it all? And it's like, once you have a child, you have purpose. So you said something that was powerful. I hope everybody gets it, is that your days are more calculated because you have purpose, right?
Yep.
So it's like your goal is to do all of these things, not one or the other. So it's not like you're looking for balance, it's you're looking for how to squeeze as much out of every single moment, every single day, right?
Absolutely.
That's awesome, dude. What a great way to start out the Solid podcast. That is, I don't know if you've ever listened to the episodes after, but it is what the Solid podcast is about. How do you succeed in business? How do you succeed in your fitness? How do you succeed in your family? And how do you succeed in your faith? So you learn to do those things, and you've done a phenomenal job.
Trying.
How old are the kids now?
2.5 and 4.
Wow.
Coco just turned 4 a couple months ago, and it's a blast. So fun, and more to come. So
If you were to tell somebody what it is you do for work, what would you say? What's your thing? Entrepreneur, obviously, but what's all the stuff you do? And I want to have some questions about it. But yeah,
I think it goes back to the word connect, and I just connect people. With my title company, we're doing real estate transactions for people that are buying, selling, refinancing. Usually one of the biggest moments of people's lives, and they're rooting themselves here, and we're connecting. We're in that way, we're connected to all the parties of that transaction to make sure it's the best possible experience that they can have. And as a title company, we do have some influence in that, and we're connecting them in that great experience with everyone that can be in that transaction. But then when it comes to on top of that, how I've built my business, even my title company, is having that connected spirit leading what I do. Because when I first started it, I realized that in order to get business, I had to go out and say, hey, we're a title company. If you're a real estate agent, a builder, a lender, we want to earn your business. But I had a hard time just asking for business without reciprocating. And I was actually in B&I at the time, and I loved B&I for the time that I was in it. I no longer am, but I still live by the giver's gain mentality, where if you just focus on giving, you're going to gain. And I really tried hard with the agents that we were getting business from. If I could connect them anywhere in town to anything, whether it was getting them actual business, someone that was buying or selling, or if it was saying, hey, if you ever need like a plumber or an electrician, or if you need a connection somewhere to an event space, or if you need whatever it was, I just wanted to be the person that they would come to if they needed anything in town. And in the beginning, I didn't have as much pull as I do now, where I know so many people all over the place. But I did have a foundation because I'm from here. And so I just started putting that out there as hey, if you need anything at all, let me know. And so whether it was real estate related or not, even if it was a restaurant and they wanted to know, some of the new restaurants in town, but just little things like that, that just connected them to places that maybe they didn't know about.
And initially, I would assume, I think this is right, you didn't make any money for a long time from doing that. Would you agree? I mean, you just started.
Right. Yeah. It was a lot of just giving out.
So how did you 'cause I don't know, I think a lot of people look at that and go, okay, how does it turn into being able to provide for my family one
Yeah.
day, right? Like eventually you want to make money.
Yeah.
I'm sure you felt like that at some point too. Like, I keep doing this, but is it ever going to turn into something, right?
And it wasn't an overnight thing, but I was starting to earn people's business and trust at a fast enough rate that I knew that if I just kept doing what I was doing, that it would just continue to snowball. And it was just a little at a time, and then it would be more and then more. And I think sometimes we do want it all at once. And it was a really good lesson for me as far as a long-term investment plan into myself and into our business and into the relationships, because relationships are a long-term plan. And I think a lot of people, because of impatience and just more of a instant gratification mindset, you want it all at once. But it was just enough, and because even in 15, 16, 2017, 18, 19, we were growing at a good enough pace for me to think that what I was doing, it didn't matter that I was spending all this time giving, because I knew that if we just kept doing it, the snowball would just continue to snowball. But at the same time, even until now, like all the videos that I do, all of the stuff that I put out there on social media, I've never made money on. I do meet people that see my videos, or people in the real estate community that have maybe sent me deals because of that, or we got connected because of that, and in an indirect way, what they've seen has led to them saying, hey, here's business, right? But 10 years into building what's happening in Southern Utah, I've never made money directly from that. I might have gotten, I get free meals, or I get certain perks and stuff, but it's never been about the money. And it's been the impact that I've had far outweighs, and it goes hand in hand with my title company, that I've just never. One time I was going back and forth with someone online that was telling me that I was a money hungry, greedy person because my videos showcased all the money that was coming into St. George, right? And I'll always remember this. Isaac Barlow, who is the Tech Ridge, he commented back to the guy, and he said, what's funny is I interact with Mcrae a lot, and most of the time it's not work related, and oftentimes I wonder when he actually works on his business, because he's always doing something for everyone else's business. And I thought about that, and I was like,
for free.
Yeah. And I was like, that means so much, because I'm glad that it was someone else that made me even think like, wow, I do spend a lot of time in ways that may indirectly come back to me in some fashion. But
I think there's a great lesson in that, though, because I think that's what a personal brand is.
Yeah.
When you're building a personal brand for the right reasons, it's not like there is a quantifiable return on your investment.
Yeah.
And you spent the last 10 years building a personal brand and becoming more well-known. And as a result, it's the same thing I've done with JKR Windows. I've never made a dime directly from all of the thousands and thousands of dollars I've spent building my personal brand. But the company has exploded. Mm-hmm. Your company has exploded.
Yeah.
So it's happened. It's just happened in a little bit more of an indirect way.
Right. And that's what it is. It's investment. And I think there's so many people that are just afraid to invest. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with,
because they want to know like the exact return they can get. The
exact return, right. And I mean, when I started doing those videos, I knew right away I'm not a creative. I'm not an editor. I'm not a guy that can get all the good shots and put it all together and make it pretty. And so I knew, and I had seen people post online videos that they definitely did themselves that they probably shouldn't have done. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to invest in a video guy who I've now been with for 8 years, Caden Kelsch, who is phenomenal. And we just did an 10-year video showcasing all the stuff from the last 10 years, and it was really cool.
That was my favorite. One of your favorite videos that I've ever seen was your blooper video.
The bloopers, yeah. He does a phenomenal job with the bloopers too. And I knew that in the beginning it was going to cost me money to put out these videos, and whether or not they were going to be a return, I didn't know. I just knew that I had money that I could spend, and I was going to spend it on these. And if it worked, it worked. If not, I was going to figure something else out. But you have to be willing to invest, and that's what a lot of people just don't. Unless they know what that return is, they don't invest. And when you do it on your personal brand, like you said, a lot of times for most personal brands, you're not going to see a return right away, right? And so, yeah.
Why do you think it's different, though? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on why you think it's different on business, because everybody knows this. If it's fitness, you're going to show up at the gym. You don't know what the exact return is going to be today when you're in pain, right? Or your spiritual life. You don't know if you're giving. You don't know the exact return that it's going to be. So for some reason, it's like people will do those things, but then when it comes to business, they want to know this guaranteed return that they're going to get on giving. What do you think is the disconnect for most people?
I'm not sure it's a disconnect. I just think that some people have more of a natural disposition to take some risk and take some advice. Because the only reason I did it was because I got some advice from a mentor, and he says, trust me, it'll work. That's all he needed to say.
Yeah.
And I've spent thousands of dollars just on hope and belief that this thing was going to work.
Mm-hmm. And I think it could be, too, that it does require more money. Mm-hmm. And I think people are afraid of spending their money thinking that they're just spending it and not like a gym membership isn't very much. Mm-hmm. And all the different ways that you can go invest in your body without really spending a lot maybe is part of it. I don't know. And I think with business, people just get afraid of spending thinking that it's not going to go anywhere. I don't know.
So you feel like maybe people are more emotionally attached to their money than they are the pain or the investment in time and energy into their spiritual life or whatever area of life that it is.
I think potentially, part of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I'm too transaction oriented.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to give, I want to get.
Yep.
And that's not always how life. In fact, I think that's not how great relationships are built at all.
No, they're not. Yeah. No, and that's one thing that I've really tried to. The mindset, and it's cliche, but like the mindset is the giver's gain mindset is just you give without expecting to return. Yeah. But it's a real thing. Like, and that's what whenever I've referred business out anywhere, I've never ever internally expected anything from them. And anyone can say that, but I think there really is a difference between saying it and actually meaning it. And I truly have tried to build every single relationship that I have. I've really tried to make it not transactional, because a lot of business relationships are transactional. And I think it was born out of a title company has many regulations on how we can market to agents and how we can't pay into lead sources. We can't do a lot of things that maybe other people in the real estate community can. So ours has to be a lot more organic, relationship based, customer experience based in order to get repeat business, and I think that may have helped me in the fact that I knew that in order to get people's business and keep it, it couldn't be transactional. It couldn't be that, I'm paying for half your lead source, so that's why I'm getting all your deals, right? No, it was like, we are doing everything we can to give your client the best customer experience, and we're also homies. And it's rooted in an actual friendship rather than a money ship or like a financial ship, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call that.
You were that strategic starting your business.
No.
You thought all that through beforehand?
No.
It's just who you are, right? I mean, because to me it feels like a genuine desire you have to want to see other people succeed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. No, when I started my business, I didn't even know what I was getting into. When I got into the title business, I didn't even know what title insurance was.
Yeah.
I just knew my mom had been in the business for 30 years and that she was the best person in the business, and that I could sell that, and I could figure that out. I think deep down, also what I got from my parents was a deep down desire to give, because I saw my dad and my mom give so much in so many different aspects, to me, to my brother, but also to our family, extended family, people on the side of the road down, driving to Vegas that have a dog in the car that they saw one time. And then every time they'd go to Vegas, they would look for that because of the dog, and they would stop and give dog food to the dog, right? Like, or the people that my dad would see at Subway, parked behind the Subway for weeks at a time, and eventually would go over there and be like, why are you here? How can I help you? And so seeing that from my parents bred the giver in me. And then when I got into the business, I was already in B&I actually when I had B&I experience when I started EagleGate, but I think that just when it made sense to me, it was like, hey, the more that you're gonna try to get others business, the more that's just gonna come back to you. Mm-hmm. And so that's just what ultimately led to that. And then when I got into business and I realized how tied my hands were when it came to marketing, that's when I just realized, okay, this really has to be based on customer experience and relationships, and it has to be real.
Two things that you just happen to be very naturally gifted at.
Yeah, and that's why getting into the business was just the perfect fit. It really was. I felt like I was made for this business, and it's a friendship business, and friendships, family have always been at the very top for me.
Where did you learn that from, do you think? Did you learn that from like parents? Or
if you knew his dad, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know your mom, but if you knew his dad, it'd be very obvious to you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my parents showed me the way to give. Mm-hmm. I think with friendships, it was just from a young age, I just always wanted to be around my friends, which actually for a time in middle school, I was always at someone else's house. And so a lot of the times my parents were like, "You're leaving again?" Like, because I was always just wanted to be with my friends. And then we finished our basement, and they made our basement like the place. So in high school, every day and every weekend, people were coming over to our house. But I just always was and my friends have referenced this a few times. We have a really big friend group from high school. And a couple of times it was always referenced that I was kind of the glue guy. I was never really the most popular guy, or the one that all the girls wanted, or the one that kind of all of our friends were following. There was those guys, like the top athletes, the most good looking. And I was never that, but I always was like the guy that, like, if I was involved, I was the car driver. I was the one that was like, we're going to go do this, and whoever wants to come, like, let's go.
The idea guy. Huh?
I was like the idea guy, or the executor guy too, though, because I was always the one that it was like, if we were talking about doing something, if I was the one leading the charge, everyone knew that it was actually going to happen. It wasn't just going to be
this. And this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, and this is how we're going to do it. Like, there's a Seosin concert in Newport, and it's tomorrow night, and who wants to go? Like, and we're actually going to make it happen. It's not going to, that's a memory that I have. And I still remember, like, the last time 16 of us were at my buddy's house right the night before his mission. It was the first buddy of ours that was going on a mission. And it's sad to me, actually, that night we talked about how we couldn't let that be the last night that we were all in the same room together. And unfortunately, we haven't been in the same room together. It is a dream of mine to make it happen, but I have relationships with all 15 of those guys in some capacity. Well, I can't say that. There's a few people that in my life that have done me wrong that I've completely just, and one of them is in that group. But for the most part, most of them
don't hold grudges at all.
I talk to either. They did me really wrong. They needed to be. There's only 2 of them in my whole life, but I have relationships with all of them, and in some capacity or another. And I think it's just, my friends have always meant so much to me. My friends were the reason why I got on an LDS mission. My parents and my brother, they're not active in the church, and haven't been since I was in middle school. And so, but my friends were always going to church, and that's just, they weren't going to my ward, but they were going. So then I was like, well, I'm going to go too, you know? And then it just, a lot of the decisions I made in high school actually were based on the influence of who my friends were. And so then when I got, I get home from my mission, and my friends have just always meant so much to me. And so getting into this business where it's just a friend's business, where a lot of the people that I work with, I would also hang out with, it just fits.
I think every business is a friend's business.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, you said 2 things. It's like customer experience and relationship. I think every business rides on those 2 things.
It's true.
And if you do a good job of providing a great customer experience and having great relationships, it builds your credibility and trust and all of these things that are intangibles that I think the difference, people try to figure out, how do I make it to the next level? And it's those things. They're intangible things that it's hard to show somebody. You can't show them on a financial statement.
Right.
You can't show them on an ROI. It's just, It's these intangible things that make all the difference, right?
Yep.
So a word that keeps coming to my mind as you're talking, Mcrae, and that word is stewardship. And I think, like I watch my partners here, they're such great stewards of what they have, and I think that's why they continue to build upon what. That's why many reasons I'm in business with them and love working with them. But I hear you, and I think you've been a really good steward of the things you've been blessed with. And I'm sure maybe you could talk about this, that if we're good stewards of what we have, then chances are we'll probably end up with more. If we're poor stewards of it, then chances are we're going to lose what we have until we learn how to be a better steward. Is that accurate, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Parable of the talents, my friend.
Like
right.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think so. So, anyway, I thought just as you were talking there, how big of a do you think it made a big impact that your friends? You said one of the things they influenced you was to go on a mission. Had you not gone on a mission, do you think your life would have went a different way? Do you think that was something that?
I do think that. I think that the mission and door-to-door sales right after the mission were the foundation for me as a person, both personally and in business. The mission taught me. I was in Mexico, and it taught me grit. It taught me how to. My mom definitely made sure we were taken care of. My dad was always the one that was like no for the most part. My mom was always the one that was yes, and almost in a not too much, but she definitely spoiled us. And so the learning experience, just in learning how to operate on my own in a different country, was huge. In the language, and then of course spiritually, many blessings have come spiritually because of that experience, and I think that the root of it is, and this just adds to my giving spirit, the people there. There was a mission or a area we were in called Chipus, and it was this shack village out in the muddiest mud ever. I'm talking like the stickiest, thickest mud ever, and that was their floor in their houses. And there was a family out there that we'd go to all the time, that we baptized a few of their kids, and every single time we would go, they would literally offer us everything they had for food. And I was always like, no, guys, like, no. They would offer to go down. I'm good with my water. And they're like, no, let's go get you a Coke. And I'm like, no, like, don't spend your money. Like, I want to buy your guys' stuff. And it's just crazy to me that the Mexican culture at its root is such a giving culture, and they will literally give everything off their back for anyone that comes into their home or is part of their life. And I'll always remember that from the mission. And I think
they would rather give you a Coke than eat themselves. That was more.
Yeah.
They were happier doing that than eating themselves. Yeah.
That, and the fact that I would get there and it would be mud, and their kids would be so happy. And I always remembered, I'm like, would I be happy living in a shack in the mud? Mm-hmm. And it was always a reminder, like, I need to be so grateful for what I have, because I don't know if I would be smiling if I lived in a shack in the mud, in where they were. And so the lesson both on gratitude of what I have and then the giving spirit, I think just cemented even more my want to just give. And even their giving of themselves. And here my wife is always like, every time, no matter who it is in the neighborhood or something, I'll like do a little honk, or I'll wave, or if it's someone that's just like leaving the neighborhood and I'm coming in, I don't even know who it is, but I give a wave, and she's like, oh, who was that? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, why are you waving?
If they don't wave, they're not from here.
Like,
that's what
and so because in Mexico, every single person like if you're walking down the street and someone is walking towards you, they either say good morning, good afternoon, or good night. And no matter what, like, it was just a thing. And so it was even weird to me coming home if I was like walking down the street and it was like good morning or good afternoon, but it's just little things like that are human.
So I do the same thing. Am I weird because I do that?
If
I'm on a run,
good.
when I see somebody running, I always say good morning.
Oh, same. Yeah. If I'm on a bike or if I'm wherever I'm at, or if I'm even just walking in the gym and it's like, hey, what's up? Or like, hey, like, good morning. But I do think that for the most part, humanity doesn't do that.
Yeah, I think
but
in other
Mexico,
cultures,
it's a culture thing for sure.
Because I really do. I assume if somebody doesn't wave or say hi, I just assume, oh, they must not be from St. George.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
well,
they came
and
from
there's a
somewhere
lot.
else.
Like most of the time, though, if I like do a wave, most people aren't waving back, and so that's my wife. My wife's like, "Why are you waving? They're not waving back." And I'm like, "I don't know. It's just a habit."
Maybe one day they'll start waving back.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah.
So, no, I learned a lot on my mission, and definitely a huge part of the person I am today.
So now I'm sure it helped you as you transitioned into door-to-door, but when it comes to how that benefited you, the resilience, the persistence that translated into business, would love to hear about that, because obviously we do door-to-door here as well. Yeah,
no, it definitely, I mean, because we did do a lot of door knocking down there. And there were mostly nice, super, super nice people. So we didn't get run off the doors like I did selling home automation on the doors. But it did. When I came home, I was working at Foot Locker and Jimmy John's, going to school. And so I would go to school in the morning. I would go deliver Jimmy John's sandwiches in the afternoon, and then I would go work at Foot Locker at night. And my buddy, because I got home in April, and so I was kind of, at that time, it was like kind of too late to just go right out to summer sales. And so I did that, and then I had a buddy that I served my mission with that I saw here in the fall at a game, and he's like, "Oh, I just got back from selling Vivint and made like $50,000." And I was like, "You what?" I'm like, "People, it's real?" Because this guy was he wouldn't just tell me. He would, like a lot of guys that are like, "Oh, I went and made $200,000 this year," and really they didn't. But I knew that and so I was like, really? And so I was like, let's hear it. So I went and met with them, went out on a weekend trip, and made more that weekend than I had at Jimmy John's and Foot Locker in the past like 3 months. And so I was like, oh yeah, this actually might be a good thing. But I remember that first weekend, and that first day was so hard. And I didn't get a sell, and I was really bummed. And then the second day, because it was only a Friday, Saturday, and then we were coming back home. And I had so much pressure in my chest because I was like, I can't come out here and not bring home any money. So that all day Saturday, I was just thinking about it, and I was so worn down. And I literally had a little bit of an emotional, it was about 6 o'clock, and I was like, I can't do this. And right then, like that next door, I was like, I'll just knock a few more. Knock a door. Lady is like, oh, come on in. And all day long, I was just getting beat down. And I was like, oh,
what part of the country was it?
California, Southern California.
Yeah.
Ukaipa. Mm-hmm. And lets me right in, sold her. 2 doors down, sold the next one. So I made 2 sales, which was about $700 at the time.
Best time to get a sale is right after you just got a sale.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went from like being super down in the dumps to just stoked out of my mind. And that led into 3.5 years of that exact same thing. It was a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but the grit, the resilience, and really there was a lot, because there was a lot of days on the mission where we just didn't, we could have gone home at any part of the day, but you knew how bad you would feel if you just went home because your appointments fell through. You knocked all these doors and, we call it a day. But you knew that when you went home, it was like the Lord was going to be telling you in your head, like, hey,
didn't give it all yet.
You should still be out there, right?
Yeah. Nobody else knows, but we knew we had more in the tank.
Yeah. And so that first summer especially, you get dropped off on a corner and you don't have your own car and you're just out there, it's you and the pavement and the Lord, and it's like, and there were a lot of days where I could have given up. And there were some days that I did, but it was those days that I was like, you know what, I got to keep going. And I'm glad that I did, because I ended up, that launched me into, that was 3.5 years, and it launched me into what I, into the gym that I had invested in, which then led me into being here more, and that led me into EagleGate. And so, in the foundation of door-to-door sales, I would recommend that to anybody, whether you want to be in sales or not. Like, I recommend that to anybody.
Why? What do you think, other than the lessons you just taught? What are the reasons you would suggest somebody going into door to door? What do you think they learn from
the
it?
lessons, not only for sales and business, but just in the terms of like talking to people and like the uncomfortable situations that you can turn comfortable, or the person that opens the door and they're so mad at you, and then by the end they're like your homie and you sold them and they'd love you, and I think the root of it is like, if you believe in what you're selling, you know that it's good for just about anybody. And there's going to be situations that I walked away from so many that I was like, this isn't a good fit, right? Even if they wanted it, it was almost like, if you do it the right way, you sell a lot of customers. And one thing that I did that a lot of it, at least in Vivint back in the day, a lot of times you just blitz through neighborhoods. And I took a different approach where I would know the neighborhood better than the people that lived there by the time I was gone. There was a lot of HOAs and a lot of like communities that had leadership and whatnot. And some of those ran us out, but for the most part, I would make friends with them. But I did a lot of name dropping. I did a lot of I would knock a door, and then I'd go and sell a couple doors. And maybe that door told me no initially, but then a week and a half later, I'm still circling the neighborhood. And they're out on their lawn, and they're like, hey, actually, I see, like, what are you doing? Like, I see all these signs. And so I would really work the neighborhoods more than the average. And it might not have led to as many sales, but the way that I did it, I feel like made me a better salesman, because I wasn't just, like, looking for laydowns, or I wasn't just, just pounding through every single door. I was really making relationships that could have, even though it was a summer thing and we were only there for so long, there were times where I'd sell a whole neighborhood in May, and then somebody would call me back in like July and say, hey, and then that becomes a laydown, right? Because you're going back and it's like, hey, I want this, So I think there's a lot of lessons within that could also lead to, it's a really good way to earn a lot of money in a quicker amount of time that could catapult you into the next business, your business idea that you have, which is that's why I did it. I was like, I'm going to do this until I figure out what business I'm going to start in St. George. And that's what catapulted me into that.
Awesome.
So
now you're getting
such
into
a cool story.
Not that you haven't been in fitness, but you've been up in the bar in fitness. Have you not? Last few months?
I have, yeah.
I've seen you stepping it up at the gym.
Yes, trying to.
Yeah. How do you think that's impacting your life?
Yeah, no, it's big.
And what led to that? Why the
focus? It's always been a focus for me, but I think that as I age, I realize that it's not just gonna my overall athletic ability, my overall health, my overall everything with my body. I'm starting to feel the aging, which has led me to want to anti-age, and there's no better way to do that than by the fitness style that you have, whether that's in the gym or I love playing pickleball, as Jeff knows, and just moving more.
Is he any good?
And I'm okay.
He's good.
I'm not very good.
Yeah.
But I love playing.
It's always the guys that say they're not any good. That's the ones
you
that
gotta
create
watch
the
out
problem.
for sure. Yeah.
I love playing though, and I want to get better. And I think it's just wanting, even with kids too. It's like I just want to be the most active, energetic dad as possible, and the way to do that is by taking care of your body and through fitness, through eating, through some of the things to help maximize performance, like peptides. There's just a lot of, and I think that all of that just leads to a better businessman and a better dad and a better husband. And so I turned 36 this year, and which I think I'm younger than all of you, right?
Yeah.
But I feel
Brandon is like twice your age.
35 though was kind of like the wake up call. Like it's not the same. It's not the same anymore, and you really got to step it up.
Yeah.
And
You starting to have them lower back problems already?
lower back a little bit, little bit joints a little bit here and there. And then I was just, I felt like I was getting a little soft on my overall body. Mm-hmm. So this year I'm actually down a few percentage points so far on my body fat, and just really I just have realized how much goes into that in order to, and I have a lot of older friends that have kind of been through this phase already that I've got a lot of advice from.
You just call us older?
And
no, I'm just come run a marathon with us this year, bro. It's a 50-year anniversary.
I know.
Right here on the podcast. Let's run a marathon.
I'm not committing to that, though.
Actually, it's sold out, actually.
Oh, is it?
It is sold out.
Oh, wow. I'm sure the mayor could get
I'm sure he could get in.
Yeah.
My brother-in-laws keep trying to get me to commit to the Spartan next year, but I'm like, I'm not. I want to be athletic and I want to be in shape, but I don't think it's the era right now with what I'm building and with my kids. I just don't think I'm in the era to commit to a big thing like that.
You could do it all, dude.
Maybe one day.
You totally can do it all.
If you
just need someone to push you into
I
doing
know.
it all. That's all.
Well, maybe you'll push me eventually.
You can do it. I'm going to come knock on your door in the morning.
He's not quite ready. Not quite ready. I know how much you love food, too.
I do, yeah. And that's a tough part of, especially with what I do. I eat out a lot.
Yeah.
And I try, I try to eat as healthy as possible. But we are starting to cook more at home, too, though. And
tell you what, dude, meal prep. That's the way to do it.
And the meal prepping. It's just –
you're also making enough money you can hire someone to come cook you some meals. I think the best decision I ever made was hiring a chef to cook dinners.
See, and that's what I would like to get to for sure. The hard part, lunch or dinners for sure. Lunch for me during the week is a relationship thing too, and I'm eating out a lot. Lately I haven't as much, but that's one thing. I just love eating out with friends or family.
Yeah.
Like even and with my family, my in-laws, as much as possible. We just love eating at restaurants and having a good time talking. Like it's just one of my favorite pastimes. And generally we are picking places that are on the healthier spectrum, but then I do like to eat some ice cream every once in a while as well.
Yeah,
so.
Me too, bro. Ice cream is my jam. So.
I love ice cream.
One of my favorite pastimes. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah. I think we all like some good ice cream.
So I'm curious, before we started here, you said that there's been a lot that's happened over the past 2 months.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you already touched on that.
No, I haven't.
But
not at all.
Would love to hear about how things are progressing outside of just the family and your physical health.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's some other exciting things too.
Yes. So going back to, we've touched on what the videos, right? Or like what the community driven platform that I've created called What's Happening in Southern Utah. And it started 10 years ago as a newsletter, and the newsletter was doing so well to the real estate community that in 2018, 2 years later, I wanted to take it to social media. So that's when I got a drone and took it to social media. And the first couple of years was okay. And again, it was like I wasn't getting all these views. I wasn't getting all this attention, but it was attention and views from the right people that kept making me want to do more and more. I remember one guy was like, dude, your videos are so good. Why do you only have like 200 views? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't pay for ads, and I don't really care for the views as long as the right 200 people are watching those, right? And then I knew, again, consistency and persistence, over time it's going to build. And so 2020 comes, and the whole world finds out about St. George and starts moving here. And that's when my views just went through the roof, and I started doing instead of a monthly video, it was weekly.
So it's your fault, bro.
And no, but
I know what used to take us 10 minutes now takes us 30.
No, it's so busy here.
Bro, 30, I can get anywhere in this county from my house.
He's totally exaggerating. He drives like a bat out of hell everywhere he goes.
Oh, I can get there fast, but I just get speeding tickets all the time.
But so since then, 2020, 21, it started to go, and then 22, 23, it started to pick up more. And then over the last 2 years, I've thought of how to grow beyond just this video series, right? And so, but one of the biggest things was I didn't want it to be because basically what I wanted. It's been a marketing expense for me, and so I've dumped in a lot of money. and like we talked about. And so I've thought, okay, how can I turn this into its own business and have it make its own money, and with that money make an even bigger impact on this community? And it's interesting because the guys that I've been building it with have really had to like shift my mindset, because in my mind I'm like, I want to build a platform and I want to charge for this platform, but I haven't charged anybody anything for 10 years. So it's it just feels weird to me. And I've had a few kind of aha moments the last little while, just from when I'm speaking this to people, and they're like, dude, you've given so much, and you've never asked for anything in return, and you've built a very, very valuable platform. What I've thought of for the last couple of years is how to build it without changing the authenticity or the organic, natural, what it is, right? And so last year when I moved, the moving company that I used wanted to do a collab, and I had never done a collab, and I was kind of hesitant, but I was like, I'll try it. And so we did, and it went really well. And then and they got a bunch of business from it. And then my turf guy, my pest control guy, or my turf guy, my window guy asked if I would just do an Instagram story about them, and they both got a bunch of business from it. So I was like, oh, there's something here maybe. And so I started thinking about a platform that I could host local deals on, of services of people that I know and trust, and that I put my word on, that could be hosted on a site of mine that other people could come and get discounts on. And so initially,
it's like World Star Hip Hop for home services.
That's right. So I ended up building an affiliate page, and that affiliate page was just kind of what I was comfortable with. And I've been telling people what's happening in Southern Utah, I've kept in a box, and the box has been what I've been comfortable with, and what is compliant based on the Eagle Gate, based on the like title regulations, because it was part of that business, and then my bandwidth, and I've kept it in that box. And now that that box has been like right next to my heart, locked into, because I've told no to expand what I do. I've told no to so many people until it was the right thing, and I've kept it there. And
so is it a partnership?
It is a partnership, yes. Okay. And so I've got a team now that is helping me build this platform. And what it is and so now I've unlocked this box, and it's like flowing through my veins more than I haven't been this excited about business in a long time.
It's awesome.
And essentially what it is the platform that is going to be a media platform of what's happening in Southern Utah without any of the news stuff. Like, I don't want to be a news platform, but I want to be a what's happening platform, whether it's all the new business, new development, but then all new events, new trails, parks, like basically a one-stop shop for anyone that whether you live here or you're visiting here or you're moving here or moving your company here, you can find value in this app to figure out where you want to be, what you want to be doing. And it's amazing. And the team that I've got is we met last year, and for the first little while it was kind of just like throwing around ideas of how I could get them involved. But I was like, again, with this little box, I was very protective of this little box and my time and my image and everything that goes into that box. And so it wasn't until I went to launch the affiliate deals program on my site that I reached out and I was like, hey, I think I want to have you guys help me launch this. So they helped me launch it and just crushed everything that I asked them to do so fast. And in those conversations, I said, I can't remember, because the affiliate page was just still what I was comfortable with. And it was just one aspect. But what my dream has been the last few years has been this app that I'm talking about. And I didn't think it was possible, but thanks to AI and a wizard in this company that I've partnered with, Clint Madsen, it's unbelievable what you can create. And I've had a few AI breakthroughs this year that have led to what this has been. But the last couple of weeks, what we've built in a short amount of time is truly remarkable. Sure. And it's going to have such a bigger impact on what I'm able to do with my videos. And I want to show you guys. I have a test version of what I could show you. It's I'll probably launch it hopefully within the next couple weeks, month. But essentially everything on there will be all the new, like for example, the events page, events are so fragmented here. And a lot of events happen that people have no idea even happen, whether you're a local
Concerts
or you're visiting.
Everything. Yeah.
And the problem is you have to be following like 10 different accounts or looking at all the different city websites, county websites, and you have to figure out, where all these events are happening. And so we're scraping every single one of those entities so that all of it populates on theirs, and then it just populates on ours as well. So it'll be one interactive event calendar that you can filter based on the venue, based on what type of event, based on what's free, free events this weekend. Or, people all the time hit me up and they're like, hey, between people that are looking for events and then people that are putting on events, that was one of the crowd that I had to say no to because I've never charged for video content. I would have an event hit me up in the beginning and I would go do event coverage. And then 10 other events would hit me up and be like, hey, can you come do ours too? And I didn't have the bandwidth for it, and I didn't have a way to tell them no. So I eventually just ended up telling events, send me your flyer. I'll put your flyer on my Instagram story, but that's all the capacity that I have. And now we're going to be able to host all these events on one page. And if they want content, we can create content packages. But they can just be listed on this site that we're going to drive so much traffic to so that even the smallest events that are happening can get coverage, but all the way up to like the PPA, the PGA, like the pickleball tournament that just happened at Black Desert. There's a lot of people that didn't even know that was happening. And I get that all the time where I post about an event and then people DM and they're like, hey, where was that event posted? Like, we didn't know about it. If we would have known about it, we would have gone. And so that's one of the aspects of it. And it's all going to be based around this interactive map that is just incredible. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's the key is finding something that also is usable.
Yep.
Because there's so many cool things going on around here. We're constantly like, when did that happen?
We were just saying it the other day.
How in the hell did that happen without us even getting any wind of it until after?
Yeah. I've always said that I feel like St. George does a great job of marketing to people that don't live in St. George.
Yeah.
If we could do a better job of people that are locally here that would love to support things that are happening in town, it would get a lot more locals that are a lot more likely to continuously support it and have, renewed support. They'll come back again and again. You always want those repeat customers, right?
And that's that's essentially what I want to build is something for the locals, but that also for the tourists. And it can be done the way that we're doing it, because also when you open up this app or the website, you can pick if you live here, if you're traveling here, or if you're moving here. And then based on what you pick, it'll bring up like what you would want. So if it's a visitor, they're not going to see the HVAC deal or the plumber deal because they're visiting here. They don't care about that. Right. They want to know about the restaurants and the events. So then based on the experience, based on who the user is, it will give them the experience that they want, or that we show, or the things that a visitor would want, right? And so then I have a whole page for restaurants. As I said, it's awesome. Restaurants are a huge thing for me, and then all the outdoors, golf, athletics, the university, all of this, charities. There's going to be a charity aspect to it too.
Are you going to do something for people that are moving here for youth sports?
Yes, we're trying to figure out the youth sports thing.
Yeah.
There's so many events.
I feel like that's the number one question I'm always getting asked is, hey, I just moved here, but I want my kids to play soccer, baseball, basketball, some sort of athletics. Who do I talk to? Where do I go?
Yeah, and we're creating a page for high school sports that will be bound, because of this interactive map we'll be able to do like school boundaries
where to
and whatnot.
Move if you want to play for Crimson.
And so, yeah. And so, and that's one thing I love, because over and over, I run into people that have moved here in the last 5 years, and they used my videos to help them figure out where to live. But my videos only give so much, and so this interactive map you'll be able to type in addresses that maybe houses or areas they're looking in, or certain school boundaries they're looking in. And then they can zoom in on that and see what's happening around it. And the youth sports, it's harder beyond that just because there's so much. But we are trying to figure out something for it. So
that's awesome, dude.
That's
exciting.
I do have a suggestion. When you have them click on moving to St. George, have a link that discourages them from moving to St. George. The problem is the more you talk about St. George, the more people want to move here.
I know, but that's what allows it. So the foundation of all of this started actually with Connor's dad. Well, it didn't start with Connor's dad, Colin, but one of the foundational parts of why I became so intrigued and so interested in economic development was we were at lunch at Cliffside. This was in 2018, and I had been doing my newsletter, and I was trying to figure out a way to turn to social media. And he was telling me about a company that was they were looking at moving here versus a couple other places around the country. And at the time, the experience they had when they came here to get like the red carpet experience from a company standpoint with certain entities in town was just not good at all. And I was like, how do we fix this? Like, how do we create a red carpet experience? And there's been a lot of improvements since then. Like, so many, and it's helped with the growth because there's been new positions and new things that have come that have through that growth that have been able to help. But that's one of the foundational things. The other foundational thing is when I grew up, those 16 guys, right? Half of them moved away, and they moved away because a lot of the opportunities that they wanted did not exist here in St. George. And this was in 2008, 2009. And so they all moved away. And what's been cool over the last couple of years is seeing them move back. And a lot of the people that we see through closings and just that I meet are actually people that moved away to California or Washington or wherever, and now they're moving back. And I really want St. George to continue to grow in the way that it is. I think how we've grown has been phenomenal. There are some misses, but I think generally, we've done a really good job, and it's built more opportunities in St. George for people to move back and be employed by, or just, work from home is another aspect of it, but just giving more reasons for people to be able to move back here. And even so for my friends, but even deeper for my kids, so that as my kids grow up and people's kids grow up here, they don't have to move away. And the kind of saying has been that St. George's biggest exports are our kids. And I want to change that narrative. I want the narrative to be that they can grow up here and they want to stay here because of how cool St. George continues to become and all the things that are coming with it, but also the job opportunities allow them to stay here as well.
That's awesome, dude.
For sure.
And so that's really the foundation of the drive behind what I do, because I can be in all these conversations of growth that matter, that, whether it's the traffic or whether it's where we're building, where we're not building, the water, all these conversations. And I love doing that because I really want to make an impact on the sustainability of St. George.
It'd be interesting to do a poll to see how many people were influenced to come here because of the work you do. I bet you it's the majority. At least saw something you posted that went, wow, this is a cool place to live.
Or at least use your content to make decisions for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, it was cool. One time somebody I ran into was like, dude, your videos are the reason why I came down here, because you posted that Lovesack was here. And I, for one, didn't realize that Lovesack was even in St. George. And two, I got on their website and ended up seeing a job opening, and it was for what I do. And now I live in St. George working for Lovesack because of your video. And I was like, awesome. That's pretty cool. Like, even if it's just one person.
Cool. That's
even if it's just one person. But then I ran into somebody the other night up at Cliffside that said the same thing. And it's just... So it's cool because this place is the best place to live on earth, and I think as long as we keep,
I really hate saying that, but it's true.
It is.
Yeah, the values and the people and the weather
no, we want good people here. I'm teasing.
Oh, I know.
But at the same time, you're like, man, it was nice
but
when it was a small town. But
I get it.
We want good people around us, and I agree with you. We want a place where kids can stay and there's great opportunities and the community just continues to get better. And you're one of the people out there that's definitely making that happen.
Yeah, if Mcrae isn't the voice, somebody else is going to be. And I'd rather have it being you that grew up here, that knows the heart of the city, and that's someone who moves here and decides to take that voice.
And that's the same. So what I was trying to say that about money it's the same kind of concept. Somebody's going to have the voice. And that's why I do get involved in the mayor campaigning and the mayor, like all of that in some capacity. I'll never be in that position, but I do get involved in those because there are only so many seats that are making a lot of the decisions that are happening in this place. And I do want my voice to be heard because somebody's voice is going to be heard regardless.
Yeah, dude, I think you did a good video on the rap tax.
It was the Geo Bond.
Okay, yeah. And I think you did a phenomenal job on that.
Thank you, yeah.
Because it probably you probably got a lot of support from people who wouldn't have supported it because they didn't understand it. As soon as you explain it, they understand. They go, oh, that's why St. George has all these parks and all these trails and all these things that make this a great place to live. It's worth supporting.
And that's what I love. That's why, right now with this app too, we're building some strategic partnerships that could end up being public-private. And I've seen the benefits and the power behind private and public partnerships. And I even just view, when I see stuff that's posted online that is completely out of line, I take the time to correct them. I take the time to reach out to the source, the direct source, and because even like, for example, roads, there's so much misconception with roads, and I love giving facts on roads because there's so much misinformation there. Same with the parks and like property tax. Like when they were saying that it was the mayor's tax hike a few years ago. I was like, no, it's not even close. But that's the narrative that gets pushed out there. So I love being a voice of reason, and that's actually what's earned me the trust of the community, because I don't put anything out there just for clicks. I don't put anything out there that's like controversial in any way that could harm anybody. I don't even post a negative review about a restaurant because I just don't want to. I don't want to do that. I just want to post positive, optimistic, good news that's truthful, and that's what my platform is going to be based on, and that's what it will always. That's what it will always be.
Says a lot about who you are, dude.
And so,
great job.
And that's a lot of why you've seen so much success in business, on your mission, in door to door.
Yeah.
And love watching you win, brother, and you do it for the right reasons. And love watching your family grow, and then be able to be influenced by an incredible father. And this city influenced by what you're doing too, dude.
I appreciate that.
It's big time.
I appreciate that.
It's awesome.
So we know that there's more than just two people that have made the decision to move here to St. George because of you.
Yeah.
But we'll embrace it, because what I believe, just like, as I started surrounding myself with better people, it influenced my life. And when people come here from other places, they get to be influenced by this environment, this culture, and our people for the better.
And that's why I just did a video. It was for it was a 10-year video, but I've done videos for 8. But this historical conference is the Juanita Brooks Historical Conference. They do it every single year. It's just got a bunch of historians telling like history about St. George, and they wanted me to start the event with a video highlighting the history of the last 10 years. And so we put together this video. The whole focus of that video was the people of St. George, whether it was the settlers that got here or the people now. Like, St. George is what it is because of the people, and that's what draws. When people visit here, they, whether they're here for the Huntsman World Senior Games, I hear that a lot. People come for the Huntsman World Senior Games, and then they never want to leave because they stay here for like an extended period of time, and they just fall in love with the people. Yeah, and the people are what drive St. George. And so no matter what changes around here, I just think that there's so many of those good people that the culture will just continue to flourish the way it is, because it is all about the people.
It's awesome, dude.
Well, what a great episode. What's the best way for people to follow you and find you? What's like your Instagram handle?
So it's all Mcrae Heppler, MacraeHeppler. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I just got a TikTok, actually, YouTube. And then McCraeHeppler.com is my site right now, but it's soon going to soon there will be What's Happening, SouthernUtah.com, and really excited for what's coming there. So
it's awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time, coming and spending another another session with us here on the
Thanks
Solid
for
Podcast.
having me. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, it's obviously been another great episode. So I hope you all get a lot of value out of this. Make sure you like and subscribe, share with everybody you know. And until next time, stay solid.